I never expected this ordinary lunchbox to change everything I thought I knew about my son. What I found inside completely shocked me, and it all started with a simple mistake from my daughter-in-law. Welcome to Betty's Magical Stories, the place where everyday moments turn into extraordinary tales. If you love shocking discoveries, mysterious events, and heart-stopping secrets, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's unbelievable story. My daughter-in-law had always been polite, efficient, and a little distant. The kind of person who smiles at family gatherings, remembers birthdays, and keeps conversations safe. We were not close, but we were respectful. That's why, when the delivery driver rang my doorbell that Tuesday afternoon and handed me a familiar blue lunchbox with my son's name written in faded marker on the side, I didn't think anything of it at first. I assumed it was another small mix-up in a busy household. A harmless mistake, something that would be cleared up with a quick phone call and a laugh. But that lunchbox would unravel everything I thought I knew about my son, my daughter-in-law, and the quiet life they claimed to be living. The day had started normally. I had spent the morning watering plants in the garden, listening to the radio drone on about traffic and weather. Around noon, I was inside folding laundry when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, the driver asked for my name and handed me the lunchbox, along with a short apology, saying it was dropped at the wrong address. I looked down at it and recognized it immediately. My son had used that lunchbox for years, even after getting married. I remembered teasing him about it once, asking why he didn't buy a new one. He had shrugged and said it still worked fine. I thanked the driver, closed the door, and stood there holding it, feeling a strange sense of nostalgia. For a moment, I considered just putting it back by the door and returning it later. But then a thought crossed my mind. My daughter-in-law packed his lunch every day. She was very particular about it. Healthy meals, carefully portioned. She took pride in being organized.
Why would she send it to me?
I checked my phone. No missed calls, no messages. I texted her saying, "Hey, I think I received my son's lunchbox by mistake." No reply. Curiosity crept in quietly. I told myself I would just check inside to see if there was anything perishable that needed refrigeration. I unzipped the lunchbox without any sense of guilt, still believing this was a minor inconvenience. The first thing I noticed was how heavy it was. He usually carried a sandwich, fruit, maybe a small snack. This felt different. Inside, neatly arranged, were several containers I didn't recognize. They weren't the usual plastic boxes my daughter-in-law used. These were small, opaque, sealed tightly. Under them was a folded envelope. My heart skipped. An envelope in a lunchbox? I picked it up. My son's handwriting was on the front. My name. That was the moment the air in the room changed. I sat down at the kitchen table, the lunchbox open in front of me, and stared at the envelope for a long time before opening it. Something told me this was not an accident. Something told me I was not supposed to see what I was about to see. I unfolded the letter with trembling fingers. It began simply. "Mom, if you're reading this, it means something went wrong." I stopped breathing. He wrote that he hadn't known how to tell me, that he had been living a life he couldn't explain over the phone or during Sunday visits. He said he loved me and didn't want to hurt me, but he also couldn't keep lying forever. I read every word slowly, my eyes scanning, my mind struggling to keep up. He explained that for the past 2 years, he had been involved in something he described as work that isn't officially work. At first, I assumed it was something illegal, gambling, drugs, an affair. My stomach churned. Then he wrote about money, large amounts of money, cash payments, packages, deliveries. I dropped the letter and looked back into the lunchbox. With shaking hands, I opened one of the containers. Inside were stacks of folded bills, neatly bundled, more money than I had ever seen in one place. I opened another container. More cash. Another. Documents, IDs, not all with his name. My head spun. I felt dizzy, sick, confused. This wasn't just a secret. This was a double life. I read the rest of the letter through tears. He said he had been recruited by someone he met through a side job. He never named names. He said he was careful, that he never wanted to involve family, that his wife knew but hated every minute of it, that she packed his lunchbox every day because it was the safest way to move things without raising suspicion. The lunchbox wasn't a lunchbox. It was a courier bag. And somehow, today, it had ended up on my doorstep. The letter ended with a plea. He begged me not to call the police, not to confront anyone, not even to confront him right away. He asked me to wait, to let him explain in person. I sat there for what felt like hours. The radio was still on, cheerfully announcing song requests, completely unaware that my world had cracked open. I replayed every recent interaction in my mind. His distracted behavior, his constant phone checks, the way my daughter-in-law avoided eye contact sometimes, the tension I had brushed off as normal marital stress. It all made sense now. I texted my son, just one word, come. He replied almost instantly. Did it happen? I didn't answer. An hour later, there was a knock at the door. When I opened it, he stood there looking older than his years, pale, exhausted, afraid. He didn't say anything at first. He just looked past me, then down at the lunchbox on the table. I never meant for you to find out like this, he said quietly. I asked him one question, the only one that mattered. Are you in danger? He hesitated, then nodded. We sat down and he told me everything. He explained how it started small, legal enough to justify, just moving documents, then money, then other items he wouldn't describe. Each step pulled him deeper. He said he wanted to quit, but was afraid of what would happen if he did, afraid of dragging his wife and me into it. I asked why he didn't come to me sooner. He said he was ashamed. I asked why he kept using the same lunchbox. He gave a sad smile and said, because no one ever looks twice at a lunchbox. That sentence still echoes in my head. We talked for hours. I cried, I yelled, I begged him to stop. He begged me to understand. In the end, I told him something I didn't know I had the strength to say. You can't protect your family by destroying yourself. The next few weeks were a blur. Lawyers, long conversations, decisions that felt impossible. My daughter-in-law called me and apologized through tears, saying she never wanted me to know, that she only went along with it because she was scared. The lunchbox was never used again. My son is still dealing with the consequences of his choices. Not all of them are resolved. Some things can't be undone. But the secret is no longer buried in a zippered and plastic containers. Sometimes I think about how close I came to just returning that lunchbox unopened, how easily I could have stayed in the dark. How many families live entire lives never knowing the truth hidden in plain sight? Now, when I see something ordinary, something familiar, I wonder what stories it might be carrying. Because sometimes the most shocking discoveries don't come from dark alleys or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes they arrive quietly at your front door. in a lunchbox you've seen 1,000 times before.
Thank you for watching this incredible story on Betty's Magical Stories. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another shocking tale. Share this story with friends who love mysteries as much as you do, and stay tuned for the next magical story coming your way.